Hi, I'm Dana, and today we're going to have a little chat about just struggling to keep up with being alive, with living a life, with being a person, because I feel like I'm losing my mind and I don't even have that much on. Everything I have on is something, like, more or less, for the most part, is something that I've willingly decided I want to do because I think it sounds fun. Keeping up with it all, even though it's not that much, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's a lot more than I've been used to in the past. And obviously I try not to, like, constantly compare myself to other people, and especially to neurotypicals that are, like, living without the issues that I have. But I'm doing a lot less than most people do, you know? Like, I have 1 or 2 events a week that last a couple of hours, and it takes me an extensive amount of time to prepare for and recover from them. And keeping up with that is the first little thing we're going to chat about, because I'm finding that really difficult. So I have an event on tomorrow that I'm going to with new friends that I'm very anxious about. And I was like, okay, but I have my collage club today, that tomorrow, a gig I want to go to on Saturday. I did originally think that the event that I have on tomorrow was happening on Saturday and that the other event was then on Sunday. So I've already had to try and rejig that around in my mind. And I just convinced myself that my college club was this morning. So I got myself to bed at a decent time last night. I had a good sleep, got myself up this morning, got ready, got dressed, got all my stuff together, booked my Uber, went and waited for my Uber outside. And I was like, I should just check that I'm right, shouldn't I? Like, I actually don't remember getting the little, like, confirmation email that I usually get, like, before the event. I don't think I've had that. I should check. And then I had to pay £8 to cancel my Uber because College Club is, in fact, next week. And just, like, I have a calendar. I have a calendar up on my wall that I can see over there that I look at multiple times a day, marking out the things that I'm doing in a month. Like, I'm trying very, very hard to keep up with the things that I have chosen to do because I think they sound fun. And even that's difficult to do. It's difficult to know what fucking day I'm doing what on, to remember to, like, rest and prepare myself for things, to just deal with the fact that things keep happening. It's very difficult for me to keep up. I find it very difficult to, like, process things. Like, quite often at the minute when I first meet up with people and they're like, oh, what have you been up to? I'm like, oh, not that much. And then as we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, and I did this recently, I did that recently, I did this recently too, actually. And it's all a blur. Like, so much of it is, like, as much as I do enjoy it and I am having fun and it is nice, I'm also so focused on, like, keeping up with everything, getting myself to these things, doing the thing, that, like, it's all a blur. And off the top of my head, I couldn't really tell you what I've been doing. And obviously that's tiring me out a bit and making me not feel so great. So then I'm having other things, like I go to a queer sewing stitch club thing where you can, like, take your little textile craft you're currently working on and do it while chatting to other people. And I've been to that a bunch, and, like, there's still, like, different people come and go and there's new people and whatever, but it's a really, like, nice, safe little space where you can show up and you can do your little craft and you can have a chat, you can not have a chat. Like, it's very, do whatever the fuck you want as long as it's not affecting other people negatively, you know? Like, it's a very easy space to be in. And going this time around, like, I had to, like, really fucking force myself to be there. And I was just sort of sat there and I was like, I'm not enjoying hearing the conversations happening around me, but I have things that I would like to add to them and I would like to be a part of these conversations. And I just don't have the energy to, like, insert myself in the way that I usually would and to, like, engage in the way that I usually would. And it's actually just making me feel quite awful about myself to be sat here and to be like, I just don't have the energy to, like, integrate and engage in the way that I would like to right now, and it's just sort of making me feel shitty and sad. So even though I'd gone through all the effort of getting myself to that, I ended up just leaving and being like, I can't deal with this, it's actually a bit much for me right now. And even I told you guys about how I was going to go down to Huddersfield Pride, and there were, like, workshops that I was excited to have a go at and little craft stalls that were up, and it was all really exciting and really fun. And then I got there and it was quite busy, and it was too bright, it was too hot, it was too loud, there were too many people. It all absolutely just put me through an absolute loop. And I went and I got my cakes because the cakes were a fundraiser for my friend's top surgery. The link is down below if you would like to contribute to that. You're welcome to. It'd be really cool if you did. So I got my cakes, I bought a t-shirt, I came home. I didn't, like, do any Pride because I was just too overwhelmed. And if I'm keeping up with the things that I want to do, which for the most part I have been, it does eventually just result in the fact that I can't do things that I want to do because I'm too overwhelmed from trying to keep up and trying to keep going and trying to do this and that. And like I say, these are fun things that like I don't have to do. Like, God help me if I ever end up with like a really stressful month, because fuck knows what I'm going to end up dropping there and not getting done and whatever else. Like, it's, I'm finding it so difficult to even do the fun things, and I'm so exhausted from that like I'm slipping behind on keeping my dishes done, I'm keeping behind on keeping my laundry done, I'm slipping quite massively behind on the day-to-day stuff of like my dinner time has slipped up to being like 9:30, 10 p.m. instead of 8. It's been 8 p.m. for fucking years. Like, that is my routine, and I'm struggling so much to keep up with things that I'm even struggling to keep up with my daily routine. So all of that is slipping to be later and later and later, which means I then go to bed later and I wake up later, and it just feels like everything is sort of slipping through my fingers. I can't quite keep a hold of anything or keep up with any of it, and it's extremely stressful. And I have a whole extra layer of like stress and frustration towards it, because I know that it's only from me. Like, the only bitch that fucking cares whether or not I show up to all these events that I said that I'm going to show up to, and if I do this and that and go here and there, the only fucker that actually cares is me. So I could very easily do less things, skip more things, prioritise which things I most want to do, but I want to do them all. I want to do them all is the big issue. And like, I am getting better with it, but also skipping, not doing the things, making different decisions, there is still going to be a part of me that's just like really sad that I'm not going and doing that thing, and that I didn't even try to go and do that thing, you know? It feels like I'm letting myself down. Like, I've moved here to like make my whole new life and to build community and to have friendships and to like have a life here, so I have to build that now and do that. And it's so much pressure on myself that I don't need to be putting on myself, but I do. Like, there's a point to which I do need to do it, you know? Like, that is my intention for having moved here, is making myself a nice life and getting to know people and having things that I enjoy going to. And the more that I go to things, the more I feel safe in those environments, and the more that I know people and have familiar people around. And it is definitely a beneficial thing for my future. But I'm really struggling to keep up with the amount of things that I've set myself up to do. And I'm struggling to keep up with the things that I have to do, like, behind the scenes to be able to go and do those things. You know, things like having my routine when I'm at home, things like having clean clothes to get dressed in, things like being able to come home and cook dinner without having to do my dishes first because I don't have the things clean that I need to be using to cook dinner. Like, there's ways in which I am going to try to set myself up better. For example, I've just recently had my shower fixed. So we've talked a bunch about how I have a lot of sensory issues with showering, and I've had a few things recently that I've skipped out on because I hadn't, like, I could shower, it turned on, but it was either freezing cold or boiling fucking hot. So I was like showering in boiling hot water that was making my skin go red, and then switching it to cold so that I could wash my hair without like damaging it further. And it's just been a bit of a nightmare. So I did finally get that fixed so that I can have showers with like just my usual sensory discomforts and not a whole host of new ones. But like, I was skipping things because I was like, I don't have the energy to shower and go to that thing, and I'm not being someone that goes to things without having showered. I don't want to be the smelly person. I'm already sweating from all of my fucking anxiety. I don't need it to be like old sweat as well as the new sweat. Like, that's just the last thing I need. But keeping up with personal hygiene to be able to go to the things, like, if I haven't got the energy, I haven't got the energy, and then that means I'm not going to the thing, and then I'm sat here stewing in my own fucking misery because I'm like, oh, I didn't go to the thing because I couldn't have the energy to shower. And it just feels a bit pathetic and loserish, doesn't it, mate? Oh, you're drooling. Is it really that good? Are you really so relaxed? What a lovely boy. Ugh. And like, part of why I'm making this video, to be fair, is like I said at the start, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't feel like it's all like fucking staying in here. I don't feel like my brain is doing the things that I need my brain to do, and it's quite rough. So there's both the element of, I like having this channel as like a sort of like log, documentary, record, whatever the fuck it is, of how I've felt at various points and how I've been feeling and what I've been up to and what I've been doing and blah blah blah. And I also can then build on this and let you guys know what I end up doing because this isn't sustainable. And it's all very well and good trying to like go to things and do this and do that. I can't afford it in the like I'm so struggling to keep up with things that I'm not getting myself out of the house early enough to be able to get transport to things. So the vast majority of stuff that I'm going to, I'm getting an Uber there and then getting the bus back to try and save some level of money, but it's still really fucking expensive to be doing. Like I can't afford to keep doing that. And I also like, I think I just really, I need to prioritise the things that I find more important, that I think are going to like be more beneficial to my future and things like that, because I just can't keep up with all the things that I'm trying to do when like I've already spent many years finding it difficult to just keep up with like my day-to-day routine and feeling okay with like my day-to-day life, you know, like it's something that I found very, very difficult. And it's lovely that I'm in a newer, happier era and that I'm feeling more able to do more things, and I am finding things that I want to do and groups that I want to spend more time with. And especially that's one of the big things as well, is that I have having more like one-on-one interactions and building more like specific friendships. So it's both having the groups that I like going to and want to be consistent with to help build community, and I'm adding more like individual like one-on-one things that I'm doing and like outside plans from that. And I think that's the thing that's really made it more difficult for me, because I get a lot more anxious about that kind of thing, because it's the type of thing like I can't really show up and just not speak, you know. Like any of the groups that I go to are very like autism friendly and very understanding of neurodivergence, so if I want to show up and be like I'm not having a very good day, I'm just gonna sit here and do my craft, no one minds. I can just sit there and listen, it's all good and it's all fine. When it's like me and this person, or me and these two people, like I do have to actually like engage and be a person. I find that to be a lot more pressure, and I find it a lot more difficult. And I don't want to sacrifice my groups. I don't want to stop going to the little groups and clubs that I've been going to just because I have already been and seen someone that I like and want to build a friendship with this week, you know? It's something I'm gonna have to just learn to do. I've had various points across my life, shockingly enough, where I've had friends. So like I have had points when I've managed to like balance that and be somewhat used to it. I've never been someone that's gone to clubs and found clubs that I enjoy going to and been like part of little groups that meet this many times a month or whatever. So like learning the balance of those two as someone who was already struggling with like keeping up with being alive and feeding myself and washing myself, like it's definitely a big learning curve. And especially like keeping up with this at the same time. I forget that YouTube is like an element that I actually do, like I do put quite a lot of pressure on myself. Like I was telling my friend earlier, like I think today's video is going to be late, and they were like, why does that matter? Like as long as you post it on the day, why does it matter if it's like half an hour later than it usually would be? Put down the autism. But it matters to me. I reckon though, if I edit like lightning fucking fast and try really hard, it won't be very late. So we're gonna finish it there, because it's all I have the fucking energy for. I have a whole fucking notebook of like really, I think really good video ideas, and I just don't have the energy to like properly develop them and like the brain capability to like say what I want to say and really like do the more complicated videos than this. So I'm afraid we are probably gonna be stuck with little rambly ones for a little while. It's what I have the brain capability for, and I hope you understand that and don't mind too much. So as always, we are going to finish up by me asking you to check out the links in my bio if you don't mind. One of them's for my friend Seth, so that they can get accessible transport for their partner, because currently their partner is re-injured and has their chronic illnesses just generally worsened, and transport to go to hospital appointments, doctor's appointments, anything that they need to leave their house for is extremely difficult for them and makes things a lot worse for them. So if they were able to have an accessible van, oh, I was doing the right words, I was on like such a flow and then I lost it even though I said the right thing. But having accessible transport would just be a major life-changing thing for them and make so many things a lot easier. So if you fancy having a little read of what Seth has to say about it, because they're reading it from the person whose situation it is obviously a lot better than me like trying my best to put some words to it. It's too hot today, okay? Like I'm not feeling it. And the other link I've added more recently is for one of my local friends, Alec, who's raising money so that they can get top surgery. So obviously it would be really cool if you check that out and help the trans person to be able to access healthcare, because it's very difficult for them to do that. Pride Month may be over, but we should never stop supporting trans people. Like, have a little read, have a little look, have a little donate if you can, have a little share. If you can donate or share either of them, I would just be very happy and feel very good about it, and I would very much appreciate it. I would love to see people in my communities getting the help that they need and the help that they deserve and being able to live the lives that they deserve to have. And unfortunately, for a lot of queer people, for a lot of disabled people, the thing that helps them live the life that they deserve is some money. So it'd be really cool if you could. You don't have to. I don't mean to pressure anyone, but I also want to help my friends. Do whatever the fuck you want. Whoever you are, wherever you are. If you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year. And I will see you again in a couple of days.